Welcome to the Flix Forum podcast for the third of our special episodes where we recap the last 25 films that we've watched. In this case, it's the 51st to 75th Netflix original film in the chronological order of release. And I'm joined here today by my co-host MJ.
Jesse, I am very excited to be doing this again. I do love looking into a new film each week. But I think these are my favourite episodes where we actually get to look back on what we've seen, do some rankings, pull out some key moments of the last 25 movies.
Very true. So today we're going to be doing a full ranking of all 75 films that we've seen so far. It's crazy. 75 films. We're going to then compare our results and come up with a new consensus order. And we're also going to chat through our favourite 3 scenes, our worst 3 scenes, our favourite 3 characters, and the best 3 acting performances, our own mini Oscars. MJ, I want you to kick this off for us.
It's funny, like 75.
That's a lot.
Like the fact that we obviously did Podmas kind of meant that we flew through this last 25, but I can't believe we're at 75 Netflix films already that we've seen. It's insane.
And there's only another 150 to go.
Yeah, I think, and that's if they did no more films right now. So we've done this obviously with the top 25 and the top 50. If you are a loyal listener to the podcast, you will know that Heater, our wonderful co-host, was around for the first 50 films. He's since been a little bit busy for the last 25, which as it turns out, it's only been about a month of time because we got through it so quickly. So he hasn't seen the last 25 films. Now, I've tried to do this top 75 ranking in a way that we can still incorporate Heater.
I'm so glad you had the mind to give it a crack. It was too daunting for me.
To be honest, it's definitely not an exact science, but it still gives a flavour of what Heater thought of the films. So basically, I've used my 1 to 75, your 1 to 75, as you would expect.
Yep.
And then I've put Heater's 1 to 50 in. Now, after you add all those together, I divide the first 50 films by 3, and the second 25 I only divide by 2. And the lowest number basically is the highest film. Sure. So it's kind of like golf in that sense. So it does mean that it skews a little bit with films in the last 25 that you or me particularly didn't like.
Sure. Those
films get pushed a little bit deeper because they're getting higher numbers than what Heath could have given it. I'm sure some of them, if Heath had given it, he would have given it a pretty high number as well. But so there is a little bit of context there that we must say. But I think I did it with just yours and mine, and I did it with this way with Heater's as well. And I just think this gave us a better flavour of, the 3 of us on the podcast and how to do it. So
I 100% trust what you've done. Because
as I said, it's definitely not a perfect science. We do have a list of 75 films here. And we're not going to go through them every single one.
No.
But I will pull out the ones in the last 25. And then we can have a bit of fun with the top 10 overall as well. So we get our Flix Forum ranking.
Ready to listen and hear what
I hope that didn't go over everybody's head. So we'll just...
This is a surprise to me. I've got no idea. So
True, yeah. So Jesse sent me his 1 to 75. And obviously I did my own and I put it all together. So the bottom 3 films are all...
new ones.
51 to 75 films. And as I said, I think it's skewed a little bit because of Heater. Okay. I must say that the 75th film is the 75th film regardless if it was just you and me as well.
Yeah.
Is Paradox.
Paradox, okay. Yeah.
Famously, we both gave it half a star. I ranked it the 74th film. You ranked it the 74th film.
Nah. Oh, yes. Sorry, Paradox, I did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure. I was like, this wasn't my worst.
No, this wasn't your worst. So we both had it as our second worst film. 74th on the list is also a new one, which I think this is probably an example of one that copped it because of not having Heater's ranking on it. But The Open House is our 74th film. So I ranked it 72. Have you got your rankings?
I had it 69.
You did, yeah. So probably a bit unlucky to be the 74th film. 73rd film, you'll actually like where this is, because it is Stepsisters.
Is that bang on what I had?
Yeah, so I had it at 63. So it's a little bit disappointing that it is that low.
It was a piece of trash.
It was bad. It did. It's got an average of 1 star between us.
And you watched it for the second time.
I did. I was forced to, such is my dedication to this podcast. And I know I'm not going to talk through all of them here, but I did want to mention that 72, which has been our bottom film over the last 2 things, is Brahman Naman. Which, as I said, I think So it's Heater's 50th ranked film. So it's Heater's worst.
I had it ranked at 72.
I know. It's my 75th. It's my worst. But the way this ranking works, it's bumped itself up to 72 somehow, but still just a god-awful film. And your worst one, Mascots, is at 71.
Okay.
But now at number 70 is still a new one, is Bomb Scared.
Okay.
Again, unlucky. And 69 is also a new one with Mute.
Ooh, okay.
So Bomb Scared, you didn't have too bad.
I had it at 54.
I had it at 68.
Okay.
But
I Mute at 60.
and I had that at 58. So Mute's been a bit unlucky there. So things like hashtag Reality High, XOXO, and Take the 10 were all around that mark as well. But at number 65, we had The Outsider, which you and me both had very similar.
Yeah.
I had 56.
57.
And number 63 is the one we did last week, Roxanne.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I had it at 65. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, jeez. Brought that down a fair bit.
You had it at 45. I must admit, when I saw yours, I was like, oh, have I done something wrong here? But no I think...
Came down.
Number 61 is one of the most violent films I've ever seen, The Killer.
The Killer.
I had it at 50.
Yeah, I had it at 55.
Number 58, we've got Love Per Square Foot. I had it at 47.
And I had it at 56.
So 59 now is Pee-wee's Big Holiday, which has notoriously been very low.
I have that at 34. That is... They're going to keep dropping.
Well, I had it at 73, and it was Heater's 48th, so it's his third worst. Then we can skip a few and go to number 54, which is Christmas Inheritance.
Sure.
I had it at 24.
I had it at 58, so I brought that one down, obviously.
Didn't mind Christmas Inheritance.
Yeah, I remember. That you didn't mind that one.
But actually, I must say, this is a dead heat with El Camino Christmas. So I normally split the dead heats by star rating, but it's exactly the same star rating as well.
Okay.
So 53 was El Camino Christmas.
I had that at 36, so a little bit higher.
Yeah, I had it at 46, so it was a bit unlucky to be that low. And then the next one is 49, is A Christmas Prince. So we got out our three Christmas movies, which were probably all similar kind of standard.
Yeah.
Number 47, the French film Blockbuster.
Sure.
Had it at 31.
46, very close.
Now this one, number 45, I had as the 14th highest film. You had it as the 61st. Big discrepancy.
Wow.
Game Over Man. Our Christmas Day special. In fact, you're talking about big discrepancies. Number 40 was my 8th highest film.
Okay, this is the... Yeah, I know what this one is. This is Irreplaceable You.
Irreplaceable You.
Yeah, I've brought that one down because I had that at 63.
63, I had it at 8.
That was
That's our biggest
discrepancy.
Except... if I go all the way back to number 51, you had Mercy at 8.
Yeah,
I had
true.
Mercy at 69.
True.
So that's probably a 61 points difference.
That was horrible. Anyway.
Mercy?
No, Irreplaceable You.
I thought it was excellent.
I liked Mercy.
Number 38, When We First Met. I had it 30, you had it 40. Feels about right. Number 36, Benji. I had it at 17.
That cute little dog film.
Oh, what a dog it was,
At
too.
51.
Number 33, we've got The Polka King.
Jack Black. I had it at 28, so very close.
Number 28, The Cloverfield Paradox.
Had it at 29.
Yeah,
so
nicely
very
done.
close.
I had it at 33, so we're
so very close.
pretty common consensus there. Number 24, Bright.
I had that at 15. So
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I had it at 42. Yeah,
That's
I do
pretty-
recall that conversation being a little bit
Different.
different, yeah. So then we're almost into our top 20. I might go through our top 20. At number 20, we've got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny.
So that was from our first 25 bunch of films.
That's the third film of all time.
Yep.
So number 19 is a new one, Wheelman,
Sure.
which was a good movie.
That wasn't too bad at all. It was obviously set in a car.
Yeah, it's good. Number 18 was Tramps, which we all watched.
Second bunch of
Yep.
25.
Number 17 was Spectral, which Heater had in his top 10 back in the last time we did it. I have it at 16.
Yeah, I had that really low, I think, from memory. It's so low I can barely
43.
see it. 43, yeah.
Number 16 is a new one, The Babysitter.
We all enjoyed that. We had a special guest simmer on us with that one.
Who also enjoyed that film. I had it at 18, you had it at 24, so it was a good fun film. Number 15, Jesse, this is in your top 10.
Ooh.
Gerald's Game.
Wipe one out already. I had that at 7.
Yeah, so I had it at 37.
Heater was along for that one as well.
Heater had it at 14 last time he did it as well. So, number 14 is Barry, which probably thanks to Heater.
Heater had that high, didn't he?
Heater's got it in his top 7.
26.
Similarly with this one, number 13 is To the Bone, which Heater had is at number 2.
Yeah, that was one of his favourites.
Yeah. Number 12, First They Killed My Father, which is another top 10 for you.
Yeah, number 6.
I had it at 26. Number 11, here's a new one, 1922.
Wow, that jumped up. I had that at 9, so...
I had it at 21, so it evens out quite nicely there. Now we're into our top 10. We've watched 75 films.
These are our top 10 films.
And I would honestly say, looking at my rankings, there's 15 to 20 films of these 75 that I'd happily recommend to people. If someone's like, what can I watch? I've got a list of 15 or 20. These films have been okay, so this top 10 says a lot.
I've already had 3 and 1 wiped out, so I'm worrying.
Number 10 is Tallulah.
Tallulah. I had that outside my 10.
Yeah, it slipped
At 11.
outside. This is the first time it slipped outside your top 10. I had it at 9.
Okay.
He'd had it at 20 in his last lot, and he was often pulling that back for us, which we'll see a bit of a trend here. Number 9 is a new one, A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had it at 7.
I had it at 19. So still my top
Still
20.
pretty good, yeah.
Still pretty good.
Number 8, I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore.
Sure.
I had it at 11.
I had it at 20.
And Heath had it at 6.
Okay.
You can bear in mind, there's 25 films that Heath hasn't seen. So when you say 6, there's obviously less of a sample size to look at. Number 7, appropriately, 7 Años.
Sure. I had it at 16.
I had it at 10. Heath had it at 5.
Bringing them up.
Heath has got a huge flavour in the top of this and the bottom of this. Number 6 is Ark, which I had at 4. Heath had at 4.
Yeah, I had it at 12. ARQ.
ARQ. Number 5. This is a new one, so it's only been rated by you or me.
New one.
Is the Meyerowitz Stories New and Selected.
Exactly where I had it, number 5.
Exactly where I had it, number 5.
Oh, wow.
What a world. It ended up at number 5.
That's crazy. How did that work out? Maths is clever.
Great movie, The Meyerowitz Stories. Noah Baumbach. Obviously, a lot of
Marriage
talk about
Story.
him at the moment. Number 4, and this is where we can thank Heater, is Okja.
Oh.
I had it at 1.
I had it at 2.
Heater had it at 11.
Heater. Not even hearing you.
I know.
Hurting me.
I have to say, if we do the list of just you and me,
Yeah.
Okja is number 1.
Maybe we need to wipe Heath. Next, our top 100 extravaganza, we'll wipe him out.
We might have to. Because number 3 is The Fundamentals of Caring, which I had
number
it,
1.
and I had it at 2.
It's never gonna go any higher.
He had it at 10. So if we did just you and I, that was number 2. So you've got Okja and Fundamentals of Caring, my 1 and your 2, 1 and 2. But Okja wins the tiebreaker with the stars, but still.
Might have to dock Okja half a star.
So this is where Heater really comes into play. With number 2 is still The Discovery.
Yep. I had that at 4.
I had it at 3. Heater had it at 3. And number 1, the first ever Netflix original film for us, is Beast of No Nation. Still sitting there. Heater had it at 1.
So I might just play Funny Buggers next time and just drop it out of the rankings.
Well, I had it at 6, so it's slowly going down for me.
Yeah.
But because the films that you and I love, Heater's got outside his top 10, really. Like it hurts us.
Those ones are never going up.
But as I said, if Heater doesn't get watching some movies, he might struggle to be in the top 100 one, because it does definitely skew the top and bottom films. It does skew, but we wanted to keep it with Heater as much as possible.
It's still good. I'm still happy. It's nice to always chat and look back and see where some of the films we've looked at over the past year and a bit are sitting.
Yeah, oh god, year and a bit. Crazy. It's a good top 10.
Yeah.
As I said, there's plenty of good films on Netflix. Sorry, I just hit the microphone then. So.
That's okay. I'm sure people can still hear us. Now we need to focus on those 25 from 51 to 75.
Yep.
So we can talk about what we liked and what we didn't like about some of these movies and these films. Do you want to start, or are you ready do you want me to talk?
I've done a bit of talking.
All right. Rest the voice. So we start, our first round is we look at our top 3 scenes or moments from these 25 films. We start off with our honourable mentions, and then we go from 3 to 1 with our...
I really enjoy this because I have fun doing it myself, but then like you will come up with something where I'm like, Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh, like, this is very fun. We'll try and keep it as spoiler free as possible, but it's going to be difficult at times.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle. So if you haven't seen any of these films, go back and watch them and then listen to us. But yeah, we're going to talk about these.
Oh, we're going to have a bit of fun with it.
We are. Okay, so my honourable mentions for the top 3 scenes or moments. First one's from The Babysitter. Just all those kill shots of the characters in that film. You had a guy getting knives to the head. You had cops being killed with a fire prodder, slicing throats. Just all the
There's some
just
good
the
ones.
the kills were good. So
That was such a fun movie.
they deserve an honourable mention. 1922. This one, wasn't a scene that was nice, but just the shock value of putting a cow down a well. I thought that just was not expecting that, so I am putting that in my.
I do recall you discussing that at the time.
Next one's Benji. There's a scene where he hides in these stuffed toys. And that was just cute, so I've got to give that a mention.
The ET throwback.
Yeah, I've got to give that a mention. And my last honourable mention is from Roxanne, and it was these 3 really quick scenes that were just cut where the character was Roxanne was in a bit of trouble, and it was like. Sex, birth, and then being dragged, and it was just cut, and this pain that she was feeling. So they are my honourable mentions.
Nice way to go through time, wasn't it?
It was. So top 3, here we go.
3.
Number 3 is from Bright,
Okay.
which I enjoyed.
Yep.
I thoroughly thought, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
There was an action scene in the service station, which was just really cool. Really well put together.
With
so that's
the car
my
and
just cool stunts. It was really cool. My number two moment is from El Camino Christmas. And this is the shootout between these 2 sheriffs, which between themselves, it was really funny.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to. There's
funny,
people holed up inside this liquor store, and these 2 cops are just shooting at each other. I think there's someone shooting at
One's
them.
at the back, one's at the front.
Yeah, that was just really funny.
It was funny.
And my number 1 scene is from the Meyerowitz stories, and it was in response to you've got Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler, and they've got this response to. They find out this pervert with their sister. And, they're like, should we kick the crap out of him? And he's like, no, he's 80. So should we spit on him? Nah.
I'm going to spit on him.
So they smashed the living daylights out of his car. And then the sister, Jean's just like, he's got dementia. And she's like, he didn't actually molest me. It was just
Wasn't there like, he didn't have dementia when he molested you? He didn't molest me!
It was just a really, really, good scene towards the end of that film where the siblings are all together, so that stood with me.
You've gone with a lot of humour in that.
I did.
Top 3.
I did. I'm feeling maybe it's a happy summery mood.
Maybe
that's where I'm at. All right, MJ, your turn.
Well, my honourable mentions, which I have more than I normally would. There's a lot I couldn't cut out here, so I'll go through them quickly. From 1922, just the scene where he murders his wife, just that sheer intensity of it. It's that one scene that really stays with you from that film.
Sure.
The guy murdered his wife.
With the sun
helping, yeah. That's the thing that stays with me from that movie. And it was a good movie. The movie Blockbuster, the final video that Lola makes for Jeremy. Just a really nice come together with the 2... Looked like they were going to break up. There was a lot of emotion in it with the passing of his father. She was at his grave. Very nice scene.
French film, if you did want to catch it.
Yeah. Benji as well. That scene when they have to say goodbye to Benji and they're out in the pouring rain and he just says, sorry, we've got to go. And then he goes back inside and Benji just waits in the pouring rain. Oh, God, my little heart. That dog was so adorable. A film that I didn't really enjoy, but this was just a great scene from The Killer. So there was an evil character called Four Eyes, and he was famous for being able to sketch wanted people.
Yep.
So the guy who ends up murdering him just comes in, says, can you sketch yourself? Sketches it, picks up the picture and goes, damn, I know this guy, and just shoots him. I thought it was awesome.
I thought you were going to go with a scene where the guy gets his penis shot.
Oh, no.
That was a good scene.
And another film that I did not like, really, was Mute. But there was a scene where Paul Rudd's character, Bill, lectures Justin Theroux's character about...
being a creep.
Basically, delving into pedophilia. And just the acting from Paul Rudd was just electric in this. And the rise and the seriousness of the situation, combined with the fact that I agreed with the moral compass of the whole scene. I just love that. Everything was awesome about that scene.
Good.
In Irreplaceable You, all of those scenes where they sort of say, what if this, what if that, and the cute lengths that they go to stay together, and then the bit like, what if I die and I would never recover? And just I really didn't like the chemistry between
Cheese
those two
factor.
characters.
You like the cheese factor.
And that was real. Like, she was dying.
I know. That was just one of those films where we massively disagreed.
We did. We were watching a different film. Yeah. You kind of touched on this, but this is so hard that it wasn't in my top 3. This is so close to being in my top 3. It's The Babysitter, and it's similar to what you said, but specifically that scene where she stabs a nerd in the head, because I was not expecting anything like that, and I think like there was a subtitle at the time that said WTF. And, like, that scene is probably the scene that's almost stuck with me the most from all these films. It was awesome. So now to my top 3.
Top 3, good. Let's do it.
From the Meyerowitz stories, there's a quote from Adam Sandler's character Danny who says, "You know, sometimes I wish Dad had done one horrible, unforgivable thing, something specific I could be angry about, but it isn't one thing, it's the tiny things every day." And that's kind of encompassed the film and what life is about as well, that life's about the small moments and not the big
Very
ones.
good scene.
You hate this one. It's from Game Over, Man.
Oh, no!
The scene where they've got the gay terrorist there and Adam Devine pretends to hang himself and there's a big shootout and he's running around with no pants on the whole time. And then by the end of it, he goes to put his pants on and he goes back in the closet to put them on. They're like, dude, we've just seen your dick for like the last 5 minutes. It was the funniest scene. It was the funniest scene in this lot of movies. I loved it.
Yeah,
very memorable. And the best scene from the last 25 films was from A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Okay.
And I will say, if you want to watch this film, skip the next 30 seconds because this is a huge spoiler. But the final funeral scene where you realise that he actually did die and the voiceover was just an example of what he could have been, and
that was a shock to me at the end.
Really made me stand up and pay attention, and that whole perfect balance between melancholy and funny. Oh man, that really stayed with me, that scene.
Good. That was apart from Game Over, Man. I liked a lot of those scenes.
There's some good ones.
Yeah. Okay, so we move now to our worst 3 moments or scenes. I'll start off with some honourable mentions. I've got a couple, not as many as I usually do, but I do have a few.
Because you love a bad scene.
I do love a bad scene.
You love letting them know.
I do. I love to be like, nah, that didn't work. But I've only got a few. So,
all right.
My first one's from The Killer. There's the bad guy. It was called Blanchard. He was this sort of property owner,
the mayor almost. Yeah.
There's this scene where it goes full musical with his wife. And they sing this scene about how bad they are, how villainous. Is that even a word? How terrible they are. Yeah, and I was like,
stinking scene.
That was a really bad scene.
I remember tuning out when it was on.
Yeah.
Just not even registering it.
It was poor. The next one I've got is from Christmas Prince. Mm-hmm. There's this scene where there's a room full of the press. And they are just the biggest group of knobs that were impatient and just so unbelievable as characters that really frustrated me. So
what are we going to do if there's no king elected?
Yeah.
It was awful.
It was awful. Another one from one of our Christmas films was Christmas Inheritance. And the main characters in that, or the love story between Ali and Jake.
Yep.
So I've just said every scene with them in it. I gotta have something.
I'm thinking, like, what specific scene?
Exactly, all scenes with them.
Nah, that was alright. That was the best out of the Christmas movies.
Stepsisters is another one that I've got to mention. So I'm also gonna say every scene and character and piece of dialogue in that film.
Come on, pick one out. Like,
no, the whole film. The open house. We have that in our rankings. That was pretty low. So this spoiler alert again.
No, don't watch it.
There's a scene at the end where the kid you've been following the whole time stabs his mum, and that was so bad, so bad. Love Per Square Foot was this rom-com Indian story.
Yep.
Half English, half Hindi.
Mainly Hindi.
Hindi, yeah. Just the songs in those movies that turn full Bollywood, like music video clips.
That's a cultural thing to
It
do.
is,
We are not
but
used
I didn't like it. I've got one from Mute. And you mentioned this as a scene that you liked before, where this character Duck gets pulled up on being so gross, and I just thought all the scenes with him being gross deserved a mention.
Understand. I almost slipped something like that in as well.
Yeah. And my last honourable mention is from The Outsider, and this was a film with Jared Leto and sort of becoming a part of this Japanese mafia sort of culture. So where he was initiated, that really didn't. It was cringeworthy for me.
Oh yeah, walking down
the garden.
the
garden. Yeah. All right.
That was a long film.
That was. All right. Number three. Worst scenes. Irreplaceable You.
Oh no.
Everything with Abby and Sam.
Oh god. So you could have put Stepsisters in there with no context, but you chose to pick the one that I liked.
I didn't do it on purpose.
With a relationship that I liked.
I think I gave that 1.5. So
Stepsisters, you gave half.
True. That's a good point. I don't make sense. But that stood out the most for me.
Number 2.
Number 2 from Game Over Man.
Oh no.
All the misogyny and homophobic slurs in that film towards Cassie. And they're just poor.
Yep,
poor.
Sure.
And my number 1 worst scene, worst moment, Paradox. No context needed. Okay.
So you had like 4 movies in there that you just basically said the movie. I don't have as many as you, but my first one is from Bright. This is my honorable mention. That final showdown scene of Bright, where there was all this magic stuff happening and you never quite understand what it takes to be a Bright because they never tell you. And then Will Smith's character just holds this wand that is supposed to kill him, but then doesn't kill him because maybe he's a Bright. Like, it was just such a bad ending.
That's almost the whole movie as well.
That's the final scene.
It's the whole movie. You don't understand what it is to be a Bright for the whole thing.
But you know what? If they didn't reference it so heavily in the end, it would have been okay. From the movie Wheelman, which I did say was a good film. There's a character Clay who was kind of felt like this mysterious guy who was going to be involved in some way, and then it turned out that whole character was a massive letdown, and then he ends up shooting himself. He shoots himself in the head, and I just was expecting a much more clever payoff with that character. So, this is one that you've said in your favourite scenes was the cow scene from 1922 when they killed that cow for no damn reason, which
I didn't like that. I just liked the surprise.
I know. I just found it difficult
I
to
like
watch.
animals.
Game Over Man, not dissimilar to you, but there was that scene at the end where Joel and Irma are fighting and he's just gone like full flamboyant gay, which was just ridiculous. There was no humour in it. I'm all for humour that's not politically correct at times, but that wasn't even funny. No. So,
good call.
And I actually do have Irreplaceable You in this.
What?
Because I hated it when Sam cheated on Abby. I hated it. It didn't need it. That whole sequence, they didn't have to separate for that really long length of time when she's about to die.
Yep.
It really upset me.
That upset you because you were so into it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I was like, what are you doing, Sam? Okay, number 3.
Sure.
This could have been a general one like yours with... Oh, no, the open house you were specific. But there were a lot of extended scenes of Dylan Minnette's character in the open house just walking around the house.
Doing nothing.
Like going through the basement where the music would rise and then there'd be a crescendo and then nothing would happen. And they did it like 6 times. It was like, oh, this is what's in a horror movie. We got to do it. How are we going to... That doesn't matter. We don't have to end it. We just got to do it. So it was terrible.
Sure.
There was, in The Killer, there was a rape scene in the streets... Yep. With the son of Blanchard, which had absolutely no place because they didn't develop those characters well enough for me to feel any way justified that's why that baby is carrying. And my number 1 is the first 15 to 20 minutes and the last 15 to 20 minutes of Paradox.
Okay, so we both had very similar
number ones. We had to have it. It was a stinker. So, all right, let's go on to characters.
So these are our top 3 characters that we're heading towards.
Yep.
So I'll start with my honourable mentions. I've got, from The Babysitter, B.
Oh, yeah.
And my like for her was that while she was... Sorry, I can't help not spoil it. But, even though she was bad, she never actually turned fully on the kid that was...
She had the chance, didn't she?
She had the chance and she didn't.
And we're going to see a sequel at some point, apparently. So.
Yes. Well, after credit shot, we saw that.
And it's been announced.
Yeah, correct. The Wheelman. Just an honourable mention for him because...
From what movie?
The Wheelman. Just that, that you could tell everything as a character he wanted to do was for his daughter. So I thought that was worth mentioning.
For sure.
Christmas Prince. This was out of the Christmas films we looked at, this was my favourite out of those.
Yeah, it was.
So I've got Amber, who was the main protagonist in that, and I just thought she was a nice character. She never did anything bad to anyone, so I just wanted to put her in there because she was nice.
Yep.
Bright. I've got Ward. Because, Will Smith's character in Bright. I just enjoyed that character. I like that. I know I like that film more than you, but I just thought, you didn't, in that film, you didn't see him fully change as a character, but I thought you didn't need to, and I still enjoyed him.
That's fine.
When we first met, I've got Noah because I thought he was a funny character.
He was funny.
He was funny.
Yeah.
So I put him in there. Love per square foot.
Oh, yeah.
I've just put Karina in there because she was my favourite character in that film. She was charming. She had the ability to be strong and organise her life, and she knew what she wanted. So I appreciated that as a character.
I thought about putting her in as well.
And my last honourable mention is from Mute. I've got Cactus, played by Paul Rudd.
Yep.
Just as a character, I thought he did a good. Like that was a character that was well developed through that film.
Interesting character.
Yeah. All right, my top three.
Top 3.
Number 3. Again, I've gone a little more with the comedic side of things.
I like it.
Which is different. So this is from the Cloverfield Paradox. My
number
3 character is Mundy.
Is that Chris
played by Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, nice.
Because I had him as a poor character in our first 25 episode, I think, from Mascots.
He was bad.
Yeah, but I thought he was really funny, and his renegade arm in this film was funny. So I thought he was a cool character.
Good pickup.
Number 2, the car from The Wheelman.
Oh, jeez.
I'm thinking outside the box.
Yep. No, the whole car thing,
That car
man, was awesome.
That car was so cool.
They did it really clever.
The camera being in that car, that whole film was really cool.
No, nice one.
My number 1 character is from Bright, and it is Nick.
Yep.
And he's played by Australian
Joel
Edgerton, and it just that character of wanting to be a cop, and it didn't matter what happened, he wanted to be accepted, and even though he was seen as a traitor to his orc tribe, I just thought it was a really nice story, really good character development, really good arc for that character in that film.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Good. All right, your turn.
I've only got a few honourable mentions. My first one is from Christmas Inheritance, which was my favourite Christmas film. Was Eliza. I enjoyed her sort of go-get-em attitude, but then her ability to recognise the importance of the small town as opposed to the big city and grow in the most obvious way you could possibly imagine. But I really liked her, and I liked that movie. My next one is Wheelman from Wheelman, which you've basically covered pretty well. I just loved his balance of aggression and poise, because he was in so many tight situations where he had to make the right decision and make it really quickly, and he just kept making the right decision.
Good.
I have Nick Jacoby from Bright, which for a movie I didn't like, I did really resonate with that character. He was probably the shining light of that film. And my final honourable mention is Myron from Irreplaceable You, which was Christopher Walken's character. Sure. Just stole the screen every time he was there, because it was just a funny character which had all these like good perfect life lessons and really nice. So my top 3.
Top 3 time.
Benji from Benji.
Nice.
That dog, you could put that dog in any film and I'm all in. What next? Like, I don't have anything else to say apart from that dog completely just ran a whole film, and it ran a film that I enjoyed. So good credit where credit's due. Number 2 is Abby from Irreplaceable You. Really connected with his story. She perfectly captured one way of looking at this horrible news of getting terminal cancer and how you want to A, live out the rest of your life, and B, plan for the people who aren't going to be there anymore. Just everything about that movie seemed to just strike a chord with me. Yep. Number 1 from the My Witch stories was Danny, played by Adam Sandler. Just this character again was so relatable. He was in this family that he felt like an outcast, but he'd never wanted to be an outcast. He always wanted to fit in. But he, despite the way he thought about himself, he was just a really good dude from the very start, and he grew to the point where he started to make his own decisions. He started to do things that he wanted to do, and it was a great character arc. I loved it.
I find it hard to separate between the characters and the performances. It's really tough.
I think there's always an opportunity for a good character and a good performance to end up there. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a character can just resonate with you, and sometimes you can be flawed by a performance, right?
Yeah. Totally agree.
So good segue to our top 3 acting performances.
Sure. So
our Oscars.
These are our Oscars. These are our big awards. And I don't reckon you will be able to pick my top 3. I'm putting it out there early.
Can I assume? I'm assuming you might have Danny in there by the way that you just spoke about my one. Or Adam Sandler, sorry.
Sure. So my first honourable mentions are Danny, played by Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller, who plays Matt, and Dustin Hoffman from... I put the 3 of them together.
It's a good call.
Couldn't separate them.
It's a really good call.
So I put them as honourable mentions. One of my other honourable mentions is Wilfred, played by Thomas Jane in 1922. I thought he was excellent. Played that character really well. And that film was his story. His performance was awesome.
Yeah.
And my last honourable mention is the cast of The Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Mm-hmm.
That had such a diverse like cameo cast. It was just really cool.
Yep. No, they did a hell of a job.
All right. Top three.
Well, yeah, I'm
acting
excited now
performances.
because I will not pick them apparently.
No. Did you want to have a go? We'll see. Nah.
The cast of Stepsisters.
Top three. These aren't the Razzies. These are the top three. So my number 3 I've got is from El Camino Christmas. I've got Tim Allen, who plays a veteran, post-traumatic stress, alcoholic. I just really I love Tim Allen.
Deadbeat father.
Yeah, deadbeat father. And I just thought that, he was fantastic.
Nice.
Tim Allen in that. That was my number 3. Number 2,
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that one.
I've got Jack Black from The Poker King.
I can sort of see that
Yarn.
one.
This one really impressed me because I'm so used to seeing Jack Black as this comedic character that goes down a certain line. And while he played that role in this, I had such a good connection with him playing this role. Even though it was similar to what he usually does, it was different. And that
I agree.
really stood out with me.
I was similar with him because when he first started talking in that deep Polish accent, I'm like, I can't take you seriously for a whole movie. But then he gets to a point where it just feels so normal. So, yeah, credit when credit's due. It was good.
My number one. My number 1 is Benji.
Hey!
I thought you liked it.
Actually, that's a hell of a performance.
That performance from that dog was incredible. There's no one else that has held a movie together like that dog.
It's a good point.
That was the best performance from any of these 25 films.
When Benji wasn't on screen, that movie was rubbish.
Correct. Yeah. So, best performance.
That's a great call. Good pickup.
I thought you liked my number 1.
Done, Benji. Yeah, I do like that.
All right, your turn.
My honorable mentions, I've got, I think, Luke Grimes from El Camino Christmas, only because I thought he was really good, but also it was a really big cast, and he led that cast, and he felt like a movie star in that film. So it was just a really good effort. I've got Paul Rudd from Mute. Cactus Bill was an interesting character. Paul Rudd in a very different role from what you expect Paul Rudd, and smashed it out of the park. Adam Devine from When We First Met. Mainly for the pretty similar reason why you like Noah, but Noah was a bit of a dick. He was funny, but he was so believable. Like, I can't imagine anyone playing that role apart from Adam Devine. So that's really important. And similarly, Frank Grillo from Wheelman, who played Wheelman. That movie doesn't work without Frank Grillo's performance. He was excellent.
Very true.
And my final honourable mention is Dustin Hoffman as Harold from the My Wit Stories. He really was excellent in this film. Good, so committed to that, and he was such a jerk of a character, and he was so good.
All right.
So my top 3, number 3 is Adam Sandler for his role as Danny in the My Wit Stories, and again, we've kicked a lot of fun at Adam Sandler on this podcast from time to time with some pretty ordinary movies. He was so good in this.
It's very good.
Number 2 from A Futile and Stupid Gesture was Domhnall Gleeson. I forget the name of the character he played, but he was the sort of the co-owner of the business, and to the point where I thought he was excellent. B, I did not know that was Domhnall Gleeson till I saw the credits, and it blew me away. That's acting, right? Like, I can't believe
took that character on.
I couldn't believe it. Number 1,
yes,
from 1922 was Thomas Jane as Wilf, and you kind of touched on it, but Thomas Jane kind of made the rest of the cast in that film look ordinary, because I literally felt like he was plucked from 1922, put in a time machine, and put in this film. It's how good he was in that character. It felt so real. Almost the best performance we've seen in the 75 films. Really, really blew me away. And I can watch plenty of movies where the actors don't even touch the sides sometimes. Not in a bad way, but he stood out more than you could imagine.
Good. That was good list.
Good list?
Very good list.
I love lists.
Yeah, lists are good. We were both a little bit different, a little bit the same.
Yeah.
So it was
good,
nice.
A nice little trip down memory lane regardless.
Even though the memory wasn't that old this time. It was pretty recent.
Yeah, Podmas takes it out of you.
It sure does.
I feel like we just watched these all last week.
It feels a lot sooner than it last time.
Definitely.
Well, that's pretty much us done for our list of films from 51 to 75 of the Netflix originals.
We've got 25 to go until we do the 100.
We do. And we've got to check out what we're looking at to start this off for next week. So we have a film. We're back to films.
Back to films. 76th film it would have to be.
76th film. It's the 2018 drama First Match. It's directed by Olivia Newman. It stars Elvery Emanuel, Yahya Abdul Mateen II, Coleman Dominog, and Jarrell Jerome. So,
Nice.
yeah, give this one a watch for next week.
I will. Of course I will.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to checking that one out.
So am I, mate. Always nice to do the list, but always good to get back into routine.
Good, man. We'll see you next week.
I will see you then, and you guys will all hear me then.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
See
Bye.
ya.